Good evening, Facebook audience. This is Reverend Jerry Hobby, and I am so happy to be with you today. Today is a glorious day. It is Larry Hobby, practitioner Larry Hobby Emeritus birthday eve. And we're so excited because we get to celebrate, and we're going to celebrate in a healthy way. And he has dedicated his life to healing. So this is what today is all about. So we're going to start off with a song by Eddie Watkins Jr., one of his favorite people, his favorite musicians. And it is entitled When You Believe.
All right, come on. Anything is possible when you believe. Anything is possible when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Faith can make a mountain move when you believe. Woo. Don't you know that you can change a life when you believe? Don't you know that you can change a life when you believe in yourself?
When you believe,
In yourself,
you believe.
in yourself,
When you believe,
in yourself.
when you believe,
Gonna make a miracle when you believe.
gonna make a miracle.
Gonna make a miracle when you believe.
Gonna make a miracle.
Everything you want, you got. When you believe, you want it, you got it. I said everything you want, you got. When you believe
You want it, you got it.
in yourself,
When you believe,
in yourself,
when you believe,
in yourself,
when you believe,
in yourself.
when you believe.
Well, I believe in me, so I believe in you. Since we believe in each other, there ain't nothing we can't do. Nah, 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 oh, oh. We can make a miracle, make a miracle. 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 Thank you.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. That was Eddie Watkins. It was Eddie Watkins. How wonderful. We got one more for you, and then we're going to get started. And then this is another one. And this is just priming the pump for tonight's reading. And it is called I Am a Place Where God Shows Up.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road. Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone, and there's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You
lives,
are the place.
moves and breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I am the place
where God shows up. I am the place.
I am the place where God
You are the
moves and
place.
breathes and has
We
its
are the
being.
place
I am the place
where God shows up. I want you to clap your hands and sing it with me. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Wasn't that wonderful and wonderful? Now it's time for us to just move into that sacred space. And as we're moving into that sacred space right now, I'm just inviting you to just take a deep breath, and we're just going to move into our invocation or our prayer, our opening prayer. Invocation and opening prayers are the same thing. So I'm going to invite you to breathe. And the most important part about prayer is to move into the heart space. So I'm inviting you to move into that heart space with me and just do some heart focused breathing. And I'm going to invite you to allow for your heart to sweep away anything that is unlike itself. And when I say unlike itself, any angst, any frustration, any anger, we're cleaning the chambers of our heart. And as we clean the chambers of our heart, we simply speak the word. And we speak the word acknowledging that one power, that one presence, that one life that always has been and always will be. And as we're acknowledging that one power, that one presence, that one life, we remember that anything is possible if we believe. We simply remember that we are a place and a space where God shows up. And so it is in this awareness right here, right now, that I acknowledge this power. And I'm acknowledging that power right where I am. I'm acknowledging it right where our audience is today, whether they're on social media, whether they're here within this expanding consciousness book room. I'm acknowledging it and knowing that that same power is alive within Larry Hobby, that he is a blessing in the world, that he is living his life on purpose, and that there is a power that has already gone before and prepared the way. So the words that he shares today are anchoring. They create a space for transformation and a space for healing. And so what I'm acknowledging is only perfect love and perfect light and perfect good. And what I'm knowing too is that this evening is truly a blessing, and that each and every one of us are blessed beyond that which we cannot even imagine. So in this space right here, right now, I simply give thanks for this blessing, and I simply allow it to be. And together we're all affirming these sacred words. And so it is, amen.
Amen.
And ashe. We know these words have power. And so it is this evening. I'm thanking everyone for being here. I'm going to remind you again that today is Larry Hobby's birthday eve, and he's so honored for you all to be here, to be a place and a space to hear what it is he has to share, because he's living his life on purpose. And tonight's book, Open Your Mind to Be Healed by Johnnie Colemon, is a very special book, because this book speaks to what this program is all about. It's called Larry's Expanding Consciousness Book Webinar. And Johnnie Colemon, she was all about consciousness. And later this evening, you're going to hear her explain to you why consciousness is important. So you're in for a treat today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over to Larry. Larry, are you ready?
I am ready.
You are ready.
And raring to go.
I'm raring to go. Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
All right. Open your mind and be healed. When we left off last week, we were on page 54, if you happen to have the book, in the fourth paragraph. And Johnnie says, understand that Jesus lived from the superconscious phase of mind. Your aim is to abide in the Christ mind. Human conditioning is the root of this shift away from your divine nature. However, like the prodigal son, you are in a regeneration stage, returning your thoughts to their proper place, the Christ mind. This regeneration is accomplished through the use of affirmations and denials as a means to cleanse the entire consciousness. Then the Holy Spirit has a clear path to express through. Now, this process is an inner toil, and you can do your mental work in any kind of physical environment. However, your inner self must be still, relaxed, and calm. Every thought is a prayer. You know that you have no mind of your own. However, you have a consciousness in the one mind, and you have control over your consciousness. Consciousness is the essence or totality of attitudes, opinions, and sensitivities held or thought to be held by an individual. Consciousness is awareness. You cannot have anything that you're not aware of. And after the shock of finding out that my thoughts shape my life, I learned that there's nothing to be healed, only God to be revealed. In other words, to allow free expression of the perfect Christ mind that exists within me and within you. And because thought is your connecting link to God, it is through daily prayer and meditation that you return to your Father's house. By turn within, we mean centering your thoughts on the one power, the one presence, the omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient God. With your thoughts centered on God, you can only demonstrate in your life the nature of God, the absolute good. Often I do not name melodies
such as cancer, arthritis, etc., because I do not want these names to become a part of my consciousness. Instead, I create a word like bonkers of the conkers. Bonkers is a mixture of bunkum and bonkers. You may feel that your physical challenge is of such magnitude that you cannot possibly focus on God. Friend, you can. You are God in all of his magnificence. Even when your body is in pain, know that you're God's. And as you gain a deeper understanding of the role that thought plays in your life, controlled thinking will become a lifestyle rather than an occasional exercise. Every thought is a prayer. Be what kind of prayer? It is absolutely necessary that you regain control of your thoughts. Nature abhors a vacuum. Thoughts that are causing you unnecessary pain and agony are running and ruining your life. Put a stop to this now. The body is a servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. Disease and health-like circumstances are rooted in thoughts. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they have continually killing thousands of people just as surely, thought less rapidly. The body responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed and habits of thoughts. So produce these habits of thoughts, they produce their own effects, good or bad upon it. Change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. If you would perfect your body, guard your mind, if you would renew your body, beautify your mind, thoughts of malice, envy, disappointment, despondency, rob the body of its health and grace. There is no physician like cheerful thought for dissipating the ills of the body. To live continually in thoughts of ill will, cynicism, suspicion, and envy is to be confined in a self-made prison hole. And that's from James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. You must arrange a special time each day for prayer and meditation. Prayer is communion or common union between God and yourself. You are to pray in faith, understanding, and determination. Keep in mind that you are not praying to change God, but to lift your thoughts from sickness to health. Paul said it best, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's from Romans 12:2. And as a man thinketh, Emerson says, a man becomes what he thinks about all day long. The Bible states, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he, from Proverbs 23:7. What I think and believe in, I become. What I become, I attract. What does it mean to think? To think is to use the powers of the mind, as in conceiving ideas, drawing inferences, making judgments, using the faculty of reason, having an opinion, forming mental images, viewing in a certain way, and renewing an image or thought in the mind. Often we tell children to put on your thinking cap, meaning to use your head. This is all I am saying to you. Use your mind for health, not sickness. Make a conscious decision to no longer sit by the pool waiting for someone to help you. The life forces of health, energy, and wholeness are perpetually stirred, awaiting your call. If no one in your home, on your job, or at the hospital believes in the power of thought to heal, believe and apply. Apply it for yourself. You and God are always a majority. A few years ago, the following article, I Believe in Miracles, appeared in a leading women's magazine. The doctor leaned back in his padded wooden chair and tossed his pen onto the blotter. I'm afraid there's not much more we can do for your cancer, Mrs. N, he solemnly stated. We'll continue with the chemotherapy and radiation treatment and just hope for the best. That night, Mrs. N sat on her bed, frustrated and depressed. What good is it? She frowned. Even the doctors don't have any hope. Then, as she sat in the quiet of that crucial night, a warm feeling began to well up inside of her, like a glowing ember that refused to be extinguished. It was a sense that there was something more that could be done, something greater than chemicals and doctors and prognosis. But what? Into her mind flashed the thought of her son, Jack, who she knew had been involved for years with what he called holistic health. Now she felt an urge to ask her son more about what he was doing. The principles were simple. We create our lives, including health and illness, with our thoughts. To be successful and fulfilled, we must learn to use our minds constructively, using clear, positive images as building blocks. These mind pictures are absorbed into our subconscious, which in turn brings our new uplifting thoughts into reality in the form of health, abundance, and peacefulness. These principles seem right to Mrs. N, somehow strangely familiar and comfortably real. It was as if she already knew them, but had forgotten their truth. So Mrs. N began to practice. Each day for 2 sessions, 1/2 hour each, she would sit in a comfortable chair, relax, and visualize a bright light, something like a bolt of lightning flashing into the cancerous part of her body. Then she would visualize this light breaking up the cells, shattering them into thousands of tiny pieces. Again and again and again, she practiced this picturing until she saw her entire body as clear and whole and healthy. Meanwhile, as the law of attraction would have it, Mrs. N was directed to another doctor who worked by the dynamic principles that she had discovered. It's very clear to me, Mrs. N, stated the doctor, you can live and be healthy if that is what you choose. You must think positively and realize that there is a greater healer, far more powerful than myself or any other human being. If you attune your mind to this great healing energy, it will surely work for you. This bright advice encouraged Mrs. N to continue even more enthusiastically with her visualization. 2 weeks later, she returned to the laboratory for x-rays. After completing the tests, the doctors walked out of the darkroom shaking their heads and checking the x-rays over and over and over again. We don't quite know how to explain this, Mrs. N, reported one of the medical team, but your condition has improved considerably. As you can see on these x-rays, most of the cancerous cells have been broken apart, as if they have been shattered. And it looks as if they are being expelled from your system. Mrs. N smiled and said a quiet prayer of thanks. Then she went home to visualize some more. Within a few months, Mrs. N was given a clean bill of health. And when the scripture speaks of the heart, it is referring to the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not know how to separate a joke from truth. Its nature is to record what you think, say, and feel. Then it replays the cumulative thoughts in your life as your day-to-day experiences. I have dedicated my life to instructing people to watch your words, watch your thoughts, watch your actions, watch your reactions, and to watch your feelings. You are a powerhouse, and you do not realize it. This is the reason you continue to harm yourself. Cut the ties that bind you to the human. Through the renewing of your mind, turn back to God. The journey to God is within or is without distance. Have you not wondered why you get such a great feeling in church? It is because the focus is on the goodness and grace of God. I truly wish that I could do it for you. I know how important it is for you to think only thoughts of God. Cut the ties that bind you to heredity. You are a free will being. The choice to acknowledge your divine nature must be made by you. Perhaps you started to change your way of thinking, but failed by the wayside. You are a master of your life. You may start and stop anytime you desire. Oftentimes, we blame our family, work environments, or others for preventing us from staking our spiritual claim. Greater is he that is within you than he that is in the world. Cut the ties that bind you to circumstances. Jesus told the man by the pool to get up and go home. He did not say, give your hand to me so I can help you into the waters. It was not the waters, but the faith that people had placed in them. If the waters were the source of healing, the man would have had to get into the waters. Your miracle cure is within you. Become open and receptive to it. God is the source of health. Awaken to the God idea within you. God is your health. You can't be sick. And prayer changes things. One of the principles that I learned at Unity School was to go to God first and then move as God directs. So often when you are faced with a health challenge, your first reaction is to focus on the pain and condition. In this agitated state, you tend to run to and fro, following the advertised fastest remedy. To your dismay, this scattered thought and activity is fruitless. Prayer is a communication system between you and God. Its effectiveness is not based on the position you pray in, kneeling, standing, head bowed, eyes closed, hands clasped, or hands open. It is your right disposition that is necessary for a prayerful environment. When you pray, you must steal the chatterbox in your mind. Your prayer is an acknowledgement of the omniscient, the omnipresent, and omnipotence of God. Remember to pray in secret. Prayer is personal. Be still and know that I am God. Still all thoughts in the outer and center all thoughts on God. Have faith in God. Know that your prayer lifts you to the realization that God is all there is. Release your prayer to the universe and give thanks to the desired results. God will direct you from this point. And during the last visit that my friend Raymond Barker made to Chicago, he told a wonderful story of demonstrating the power of prayer. One of his senior associate ministers slipped and fell in her home one evening. She felt and heard her hip crack. Immediately, she started to pray, giving herself a spiritual mind treatment. I am a perfect spiritual being. God's substance is never broken. I walk through the glory of God. God's substance is always perfect, in its right place and at the right time. Afterwards, she dialed the church's prayer ministry and notified them of the situation. She told them to go to work immediately, prayer work. She said that she was giving them only 20 minutes, and after which she would call for an ambulance. True to her word, she telephoned for the paramedics after 20 minutes. When the ambulance arrived, she was diagnosed with a broken hip. The paramedics told her that they would be careful in moving her because they realized the excruciating pain she was experiencing. She remarked that she was not in pain. They said, "You have a broken hip," she replied. "What does that have to do with pain?" When she arrived at the hospital, she was responsive to all of their directions and instructions. She said that wherever she is, God is, and she reacts accordingly. The operation went well. The doctors prescribed pain relievers for her, but she did not take them because she had no pain. When she was released from the hospital, her recovery period was far less than normal. The doctor gave her pain relievers to take home. And when she returned to his office 2 months later, she did not have a cane, and she returned the full bottle of pain pills. She never experienced any pain. The medical profession is engaged in several scientific studies to prove the effectiveness of prayer. I'm happy to see that doctors are acknowledging the healing power of prayer. Frankly, I am not surprised because there's only one mind. Larry Dawsey, MD, author of Healing Words, is urging the medical profession to pay attention to the effects of prayer because the results will knock your socks off. He tells of an experience that was conducted at San Francisco General Hospital. Cardiologist Dr. Randolph Bird with 400 heart patients. Half of the patients were chosen at random to be prayed for by strangers. The other half were not prayed for. The patients, nurses, and doctors involved in the experiment did not know who was being prayed for and who was not. The strangers only knew the first names and a few details about the people they were praying for. When the experiment was concluded, the doctor said that the results were striking. The prayer for a group did significantly better than the other patients. Fewer of them died of heart attacks. Furthermore, none of them needed mechanical help to breathe. One doctor called it a miracle. The study showed that somehow the prayer of strangers traveled across time and space. People were positively affected without knowing that others were praying for them. Dr. Dawsey says that this means that some part of the human mind is omnipresent in space and eternal time, and eternal in time. The Nobel Prize winning physicists that are studying the prayer phenomenon are saying there are no boundaries around the individual mind. And then at some point, there cannot be several billion minds. There can only be one mind. And Dr. Dawsey said that if the world just understood the power of prayer, peace would be everywhere. And giving thanks is the highest form of prayer. Affirm, Father, Mother God, I thank you that you have heard me, and I know you hear me always. Thanks, God, for the revitalizing, re-energizing, and recharging of every cell in my body temple. I go forth right now, renewed, refreshed, and recharged with vigor, vitality, and alertness of God. I am the healthy, whole, and mighty child of a loving Father. I am healed. Praise God, I am healed. Thanks, God, and so it is. So there's no hiding place. Have you wondered how everything emerges in your life, world, and affairs as a truth lesson? Even when you are not necessarily aware of the necessity, the newspaper comic character Ziggy is a great truth teacher. Ziggy is often physiologically and introspective. In one of his panels, Ziggy is standing at the window looking out. He says, "It's not possible to get away from it all, because everywhere I go, there I am." Ziggy, you're right on target. God is omnipresent, everywhere equally present. Therefore, you are everywhere equally present. There is no spot where God is not. Nothing is ever lost in spirit. These are axiomatic expressions that are commonly utilized and notably misunderstood and misinterpreted by truth students. The divine nature of you is not hidden from you. It is always with you. It is you. When you are gripped by sickness, you turn every way but within. You do not want to hear any of that God stuff, but the very thing you do not want to hear is the answer to your prayer. The pain and suffering that you're experiencing or witnessing is just your body symbolizing what your mind believes. You are blind to the powerhouse that are you. You can never get away from who and who's you. No amount of pain, disease, or affliction can hide the truth that you are spiritually created to be healthy, whole, and complete. No amount of pain, disease, or affliction can hide the truth that your thoughts determine the kind of life you will experience. When you change the pattern of your thoughts, you change the pattern of your experiences. I enjoy attending seminars conducted by intellectuals who have come to the realization of our divinity. When the speaker is a medical doctor, I am really overjoyed. Perhaps if you hear the truth delivered by different channels, you will start to believe it. For too long, the medical profession has denied the existence of a higher power. Countless studies in psychonumerology, mind-body medicine, are being conducted in universities and medical schools all over the world. Dr. Deepak Chopra, MD, the noted author, was exceptional as always in a recent seminar I attended. He destroyed some of the illusions and barriers that we hide behind. This is a small sampling of his talk. Whatever you encounter is nothing more than you. The cells that protect you from infections are constantly eavesdropping on your dialogue. The human body is a physical machine that manufactures thoughts. People die from preventable diseases. We cannot step into the same water twice because new water is constantly flowing. The same is with our bodies. We are being renewed every second. Our physical body is recycled earth, water, and air. We get a new skin once a month, a new skeleton once every 3 months, and a new liver every 5 days. This is the truth. Finally, the medical profession agrees. And now, what barrier have you placed between health, perfect health, and you? What did hinder you? Moses received a commission from God at the burning bush. He was to lead the children of Israel from the bondage of the Pharaoh. Moses accepted the appointment with trepidation. Why would his people believe that God of their fathers had sent him to accomplish such a feat? God is all there is nothing else. God told Moses, I am that I am. Just tell them that I am has directed you. What Moses has learned during the burning bush experience was that I am is God's name for himself. I am is the Christ mind or spiritual identity within every person. Remember, whatever is true of God is true of you. Life is analyzed, or let us analyze this for a moment. How many times have you used the word I am? Probably more times than you can calculate. In what manner do you use the words I am? Now bear in mind that this is God's name. Do you use these words in a positive, constructive statement? Do you not know the power that is in the name of God? A secret of healing from biblical times is that whatever you affix to God's name, I am manifest in your life. The association can be conscious, unconscious, positive, or negative. If you affirm, I am sick, or I am inheriting this from my mother, what do you suppose is obliged to occur? You are individualized. You're an individualized expression of the one power, one presence, God. God loves you so much that he does not impose his will or absolute upon you. Freedom to choose what you want to say and do is yours unconditionally. You may use this power to identify yourself with all that is divine, spiritually, wise, holy, loving, and infinite. And you are free to identify with the illusions of pain, disease, affliction, lack, and limitation. Create the kind of body that you want to express through the affirmative use of the I am. Affirm the words of Jesus. I am the bread of life. It's from John 6:48. I am the light of the world from John 8:12. I am the good shepherd from John 10:11. I am the resurrection of the life from John 11:25. I am the way, the truth, and the light from John 14:6. I am not alone, for my Father is with me, John 16:32. From this point forward, resolve to keep the passage to perfect health and wholeness free and clear. Your misuse of the I am constructs a barrier that will keep the appearances of poor health in your experience. Repeatedly during the next 21 days, affirm, I am the Christ. It takes 21 days to change a thought pattern. However, I believe you can change in an instant. Affirm this truth with conviction. Choose to block out any thought contrary to this power. Your body will respond with a manifestation equivalent to your conviction. The power of a made-up mind. A certain man went through a forest seeking any bird of interest he might find. He caught a young eagle, brought it home, and put it among the fowls and ducks and turkeys, and gave it chicken food to eat, even though it was an eagle and the king of birds. 5 years later, a naturalist came to see him, and after passing through his garden, said, "That bird is an eagle, not a chicken." "Yes," said the owner, "but I have trained it to be a chicken. It is no longer an eagle. It is a chicken, even though it measures 15 feet from tip to tip of its wings." "No," said the naturalist, "it is an eagle still. It has the heart of an eagle, and it will make it soar high up to the heavens." "No," said the owner, "it is a chicken, and it will never fly." They agreed to test it. The naturalist picked up the eagle, held it up, and said with great intensity, "Eagle, thou art an eagle. Thou dost belong to the sky and not to this earth. Stretch forth thy wings and fly." The eagle turned this way and that, and then looking down, saw the chickens eating their food, and down he jumped. The owner said, "I told you it was a chicken." "No," said the naturalist, "it is an eagle. Give it another chance tomorrow." So the next day he took it to the top of a house and said, "Eagle, thou art an eagle. Stretch forth thy wings and fly." But again, the eagle, seeing the chickens feeding, jumped down and fed with them. Then the owner said, "I told you it was a chicken." "No," asserted the naturalist, "it is an eagle, and it has the heart of an eagle. Only give it one more chance, and I will make it fly tomorrow." The next morning he rose early, took the eagle outside the city and away from the houses to the foot of a high mountain. The sun was just rising, gilding the top of the mountain with gold, and every crag was glistening in the joy of a beautiful morning. He picked up the eagle and said to it, "Eagle, thou art an eagle. Thou dost belong to the sky and not to the earth. Stretch forth thy wings and fly." The eagle looked around and trembled as if new life was coming to it, yet it did not fly. The naturalist then made it look straight at the sun, and suddenly it stretched out its wings, and with the screech of an eagle, it mounted higher and higher and never returned. It was an eagle, though it had been kept and trained as a chicken. We have been created in the image of God, but men have made us think we are chickens. And so we think we are, but we're eagles. Stretch forth your wings and fly. Don't be content with the food of chickens. Get out of the chicken coop right now. You cannot hide from who you really are. You are a unique, unrepeatable, individualized expression of God. The truth still exists, even though you have chosen to express something else. You do not belong in the barnyard. When you say, "Be careful because something is going around," or "so-and-so gave his cold to me," or "this pain comes with age," or "honey, you know this runs in my family," or "this kind of disease is indigenous to my race, I know I will get it." These are thoughts rooted in a chicken state of mind. I repeat, get out of that chicken coop. You are capable of doing great things. You are the world. Release the lock that you have placed on your mind and summon the Christ in you to come forth. Time has no status in the mind of God. Eliminate the need to punish yourself for unwise choices. Now is the time. There's nothing to fear by choosing life. You're choosing to take the words out of the books, off the pages, and out of the churches. You're choosing to permit the all of God to express through your body, as it did in the man sitting by the pool, the woman with the issue of blood, Peter's mother-in-law, the centurion's servant, and Jairus' daughter. There's nothing to fear by choosing life. You choose to follow your elder brother and wayshower, Jesus. You choose to bear witness to the truth that you are indeed a spiritual being, living in a spiritual world, governed by spiritual laws. You choose. Oh, are we coming to an end? Let me finish this paragraph.
Okay.
You choose to know that you are in perfect health, regardless of the appearances in the body to the contrary. You choose to tune into God, mind every day. You choose to acknowledge the Christ in the doctors, nurses, and loving family members. And you choose to know that wherever you are, God is. Okay.
That is so good, Larry. So good. There is a lot of stuff jam-packed in this session. There are a couple of things I think that we need to really clarify. I love the fact that Johnnie talks about that Christ within us. And the biggest part is most people don't understand what Christ means. They think they know what it means, but they're looking at it outside of themselves as opposed to within themselves. I love the explanation of that Christ representing a pattern of belief, a high pattern of belief. And that high pattern of belief is something more than we've ever experienced before. I'm thinking about what's been happening in the world right now. Perfect example of that is when we talk about the infinite possibilities. This is what Jesus was talking about. And that's the reason he was called the way sure, the teacher. And he exemplified the Christ conscissness. And he says, you too will do this and even more. And in that, what he did make reference was that we all will overcome all of these things. That when he says, take up thy bed and walk, when this person was hurting and in pain, that was a representation of it. So we choose to call it a pattern of belief. That Christ consciousness is that pattern of belief. And so we're inviting you to explore more and more. So tonight has been jam-packed with a lot of information. I love the story of the eagle in its discovery of itself. And what I'm going to say to everyone, that's everyone here within the Zoom room and every single person that is there on our social media. We have a lot of people this evening. What I want to say to you all is that you are all eagles. And it is important for you to spread your wings and let your wings soar. So whatever it is that's going on in your life, whether it has to do with your health, there's an eagle in you. And you're so much more than you appear to be. I hope that you become an advocate of your truth. I'm not telling you to disregard your doctors or anything like that. What I'm telling you is you get to become an advocate. And I hope that those that are moving through health issues, that you're paying attention to us, because we're going to bring Dr. Eliza back. And Dr. Eliza did a 7-week seminar for us regarding our health. This was for women. And I see a person who had to retire. She's embarking on a new career and she was barely moving. And now she has a personal trainer and she's active. These are things that you can do. You will do these things and even more. And I'm going to say the same thing, whether it has to do with your relationships. It can heal those relationships. The things that you think were never yours because it was because of you. There was something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. If it has to do with finances, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. We can accomplish anything. And so with that in mind today, I'm going to invite you to hear we're going to do our closing in a different way. We're going to hear directly from Johnnie Colemon. This lady was told that her way into these teachings was she received a call from a doctor, and the doctor told her that she had incurable disease and that she was going to die, and she could say how she was so shocked that the way it was delivered by the doctor, his bedside manner and everything. And she turned and was walking, and this table, there was a book on the table. It opened up and it says something to the fact, and I'm paraphrasing this: if God is in you, you cannot be sick. And she took that and she says, how could that be? She turned to her mother. It was in a book called The Daily Word. And her mother received the Daily Word on a monthly basis. Mom looked at her and says, I think you need to go figure that out. You need to go and ask those people. You need to go. She went to Unity Village in Missouri, and it changed her life. That's how she became a minister. And of course, the rest is history, because that was back in the 1950s. It was way before I was even born. Way before I was born. And this lady lived to be in her 90s. And she did astounding and amazing things. And I'm going to say to you, every single person that is listening, you are here to do amazing things. So with that in mind right now, I'm going to move you over, and I want you to hear from the lips of Johnnie Colemon. So just give me a moment. My system acts up. By the way, we do replays, and I'll go in and do a little editing so it'll be clear and succinct. Here is Johnnie Colemon. And listen to her and what she has to say about
I am a channel for God, created and brought on this earth for definite reasons. And I must do that in spite of what you think or what you believe or what you continue to say. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Drive out to 119th Street, look for yourself. God did it through a channel called Johnnie Colemon, with your help and your support. I am so happy to have my children stand up here tonight and talk about consciousness. There was a time they were like everybody else. If I said consciousness, the world talked about me upside down. Now they're saying it. Everybody's got to say it because it is the truth. Consciousness is what we are. Consciousness is what I am. Consciousness means awareness. Whatever you are aware of, that's what you have in your life, in your world, and in your affairs. Change your thoughts and you change your world, because you are the thinker that thinks the thought that makes the thing. If you like what you hear, come back, because that's all you're going to hear up in here. I thank you so very much. I love you. We are celebrating 45 years in the ministry. Now let me tell you something, children. Look at me and listen. Age is none of my business. And don't come up here telling me nothing about how old you are. I don't care nothing about what you say. Age is none of my business. And don't talk about age to me, Henry Hardy. Okay? And none of the rest of you. If I listen at you, I won't be able to step in my car when I get out there, because I'll have everything old age is supposed to have. Barbara, I'm so glad you came from Atlanta yesterday and got here this morning. That's a real special blessing. God bless you, and thank you so much. To all of you, thank you. May we turn within. I know some of these people, you know, that really know me. I do an hour and a half. Tonight, I could have stayed all night. Because I liked what they were saying. And everything they said was true. May we turn within for our benediction, please. In the beginning is God. In the end is God. All in between is God. Everything there is God. In me, I am. God in me is evenly present everywhere. Just God. There is no fear in God. Wherever you are, God is. Wherever I am, God is. God bless you, everyone. And remember, I'm everybody's mama. All of you are my children. And when I speak to you, don't argue with your mama. Just do it. Thanks God for the greatest evening of the rest of my life. In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Spirit, all is well. Go in peace. Amen, amen, and amen.
Okay, there we go. That was Johnnie Colemon. What a blessing for us all. We're not going to hear any Earth, Wind, and Fire. Can hear it after we're complete, but we're not going to do it live on Facebook. And I want to say to everyone, I'm so grateful that you have been with us this evening. Thank you for celebrating with Larry and his birthday. And Larry, did you have anything you want to say before we say goodbye to our Facebook audience?
Yes, I do. Dear ones, I want to extend my gratitude for your gifts to this ministry on behalf of my birthday. I'm inviting you to continue giving in honor of my birthday. Your gifts will allow this ministry to expand its footprint and make a difference in many people's lives.
Okay, and thank you. I want to personally thank you, Larry, for just being an instrument of God, where God moves through you. And you're setting up this fundraiser. He does this every year. It's part of his gift to the ministry. He started it yesterday. And when we hit the button, it said 200 and we demonstrated $535. What a blessing. I'm so grateful. And I'm glad that Larry has said we still are open to receive because God is infinite. So if you would like to make a donation to this ministry, and if you're liking the work we're doing, then we're inviting you to contribute to this ministry. It supports us in expanding consciousness and teaching more and more people about consciousness through the programs that we offer. And we do appreciate it. You can, it's right there on the Facebook page, on the Seed FM Facebook page, on Larry Hobby's Facebook page. And if you can't find that, just go to Seat, SEATFM.org and click on our giving page. We do appreciate you. Have a blessed week. Join us for morning meditations. Go to Seed FM. You'll find out more about that and all the other great things that are happening. Larry, I'm just knowing that you're having the best year ever. And I'm celebrating with you, and I'm going to celebrate with you for the rest of the year. I heard you sharing that with everybody else, and I'm definitely going to celebrate. I love to celebrate with everyone. So I'm going to say goodbye, Facebook audience.
Goodbye, everyone.